Welcome to another video and welcome to what I would have to say is my absolute favourite UK spot to shorefish.
Put all your stuff away and check out for the day. There's no time to waste when it's 100 degrees. Burns under my feet. Won't you have a drink with me? We head into town, see what it's about. Barely need a shirt though the sun has almost set. Make the most of it. I know we will dance and sing. There's a heat wave. There's a heat wave rolling in. There's a heat wave, yeah. There's a party in the streets and the city's on fire.
So I'm down Hengistbury Head, which is one of my favourite places to fish. It really is. It feels really close to home. It's probably the closest beach to my house as the crow flies. It can offer some fantastic fishing. I've got some really great memories of fishing here, mixed species that can be caught. And of course, this whole area is where I spend a lot of my time on the boat, fishing for all sorts of great species. My biggest ever fish, which was a 15-pound or nearly 16-pound ungulate, came from just over there off the boat on Christchurch Ledge, you know, anchored about a few hundred metres out to sea. I absolutely love it here. Brilliant. Now it's the middle of April and my number one target for today is the first smoothhound of the season. With that, we're also going to be going for some summer species. The bream are definitely in, so I've got some bream rigs to chuck out. If you saw last week's video, I got some fresh peeler crab from Muddyford Quay. That was actually last night in real time, but I'm going to be sending some of those peelers out to hopefully find some of them smoothhounds. And who knows, there might be a bass around. There's all sorts that we can catch from this mark. Now I'm out with Martin and also his friend Scott's come down for the day. So we're all gonna have a good go at it and hopefully we'll find some good fish. Let's have a look at the rigs. Okay, so baits today. We've got one that I've just taken out of the freezer before I left home, so it's still defrosting slightly. We have some mackerel. I've got a couple of these. These were caught last year, probably about 12 months ago actually. I caught a load of mackerel when they first started showing, which was fairly early last year. Off the boat. I will say this quickly, a lot of people, especially around here, complained about, oh, there's no mackerel last year, it's really hard to find the mackerel. There was a lot of mackerel around, but like most shoaling fish, like all fish, they move a lot. The amount of times I went out on the boat and they wouldn't be on the ledge, it'd be the other side of the bay. If you go around, you find them. I was always able to find mackerel. Being mobile is the key. But anyway, aside from that, this is pretty much my last stock of mackerel. I did a massive catch of them twice actually last year off the boat, where I did take a fair amount of mackerel, put them in the freezer, and that's my bait for the year sorted. I tend to do that, so I'm due to do that off the boat the next time we have a weather window to do so. I have some mackerel. I have got peeler crab. I've got a few hardbacks with me as well actually, but then a good amount of peeler crab which we'll be sending up for the smoothhounds. Now I'm going to fish hard for the smoothhounds as the sun is setting later tonight, which will be in about I think 4 or 5 hours from now. I'm going to fish some of the hardbacks just now to see what we can find knocking around. Oh, and I've also got some squids, and I think that is it that I have with me. Squids, mackerel and crab. So in terms of rigs, I have a very simple 2-up flapper, which I won't bother showing you. It's over there with size 1 chino hooks. I was using that last night I should say, but last week's video, the Muddyford video, to scratch around off the Muddyford Quay. Got that with me today. I'm going to be fishing little bits of mackerel strip using the belly to make a little strip of mackerel baits, which I can fish for. Flatfish will take that, of course bream, bass would still take that, and turbot. I would love to see one of them, but that isn't the main target species. I would love to find a bream today, tick that off the first bream of the year, but smoothhound is the big target. So my main rig for the smoothhound is going to be my dongle rig, which I've been using a fair amount lately. Use them at the Bristol Channel, as you would have seen, and I've also used them, where else have I used them lately? Or was it just that? Maybe it was just that, I can't remember. But I have a dongle rig that has a 6/0 circle with a perfection loop on there, and this is a bit of hardback crab I've just whipped on there with some of the legs left on for a bit of attraction. They'll move about in the tide, and obviously the dongle clip at the end there. So that's going to get sent out, and then we'll use some of the peelers later. Fingers crossed, we'll find the first smoothhound of the year. Right, so with my 2-hook flapper rig, this is what I'm talking about here. This is the size 1 chinos on there. I've taken that mackerel, that lovely bit of mackerel that I've had from last year, and I've just taken a few belly strips, as you can see, hopefully, and I've cut them into little slithers like that. Nothing super neat or crazy. And I'm just going to take a bit of the belly strip, put it once through that hook, twice. So there we have it. A nice bit of mackerel that will flutter around. Hook point is still proud there. That will catch me all sorts. I'm going to fish that one fairly short in, just an overhead lob. Let's get it out there. Right, well, something that's not nice to see, and it's peed me off a little bit, from being honest, because it's more than likely down to poor fish care. But right in front of my shelter, actually, where I've pitched up, we've got the remnants of a lovely little place. He's not big at all, there's my hands to that. Now, more than likely, that could have been that it was a deep hook that there might be a hook in there that someone's not bothered to get out, or they've killed it trying to get it out. Potentially, someone's tried to put it back, and in the swell, it's come back ashore. But it always frustrates me when you see fish that should be returned. There's no point just leaving dead fish on the sea like that. I don't know what the context is behind it, but more than likely could have been due to poor fish care, fish handling, it not being returned properly to the sea, or whatever. But yeah, it's not nice to see, to be honest. I have no problem taking fish to eat for the table. I do it myself. But I think if you're going to take fish, take them by the rules. Of course, like, you know, your lower size limits, take them only if they're within the size limits. Personally, I think there should be upper slot sizes as well for a lot of fish, but that's besides the point. But if you're going to return fish, then make sure they go back properly. He'll go back into the ecosystem though, something will eat him. Either the foxes will come down here, or might even try and fling him to sea and see if the crabs or other fish can have some feed. You know, it's one of them where, like, a member of the public could come up and see a lot of dead fish on the shore that an angler has caused, and it's going to set a really bad precedent for anglers all over the place, and everyone's going to suffer for it. You know, there'll be tighter restrictions and more bad press, I think, for anglers everywhere, which is just going to result in poor outcomes for everyone. And also just for the fish themselves to be, you know, morally, handle them well, handle them with respect. If you're going to take them for the table, dispatch them humanely and treat them as they should be treated, as a living, breathing, well, fish-breathing, water-breathing creature. Right, well, an important point to remember, of course, when we're smoothhound fishing, from the boat or the shore, just keep those drags loose. If you do get a fish take the bait and run, which they'll often do, and you don't want your rod going in after it. I actually get into the habit of, regardless of what type of fishing I'm doing, I always make sure there's a little bit of line that can be taken from the rod. I'm sure everyone's seen it, or a decent fish has taken a bait before, and the tripod, the rod, the reel, everything's gone in after it. You don't want that happening to you. Well, talking about that mackerel that I caught last year, which was just over there off Christchurch Ledge, drifting on the boat. There's some brilliant mackerel, bass, bream, all sorts of great fishing just all over this area. And just a minute ago, actually, there were lots of birds working around the ledge and the reef area that's to the side of us, actually. So I'm hoping that shoal pushes down. That will be most likely a mackerel shoal, actually. There'll be mackerel, there'll be bass in there. Potentially other bait fish, of course. Could be sand eels. I'm hoping that shoal works its way down this way and finds our rigs. But I can still see the birds working over there. It's one of them where if I was on the boat right now, I'd be putting the hammer down straight over there, lures in the water, feathers in the water, having a great time of it. But I'm not. I'm sat on the beach. Now, if you're ever running low on bait, or even just to use as a good scratching bait, actually, and I've seen these sold in bags. I think I have a bag of them in my freezer that I bought when I did a big bait order once. But that is peeler crab claws. Now, what a peeler will have underneath that shell will be a new jelly kind of body underneath. And quite often what you'll find with a peeler crab is when you take a claw like that, the hard claw, and you break it apart, you get a jelly-like substance of the body underneath. It sounds very grim, I know, but that used as you could even use it as a tipping bait, I suppose. Or what I might do is put on my little scratching flapper rig that I've got out. Same way that I've used, and I'm sure a lot of you have used kind of like, if you use like squid tentacles on a little hook, that can catch you fish all day. Could be a great bait for bream. It could be a great, do you know what I've actually caught? I remember off Chesil last year, it was only a pup, but I caught a very small smoothhound off a very small squid tentacle. So quite a versatile bait. Peeler crab claws. If you've got a bag or a box of peeler with you, then use those claws. They can be really good baits too. So what I'm doing, all the peeler crabs that I'm preparing for my dongle rig, my big smoothhound bait, I'm keeping the claws back so I can use those as scratching baits too. So why is it then that I label this as my favourite UK shore fishing mark? Well, of course, I haven't fished them all, so there is a caveat to that. I don't think I can truly say that unless I fished every mark in the UK, which I haven't done. But the first reason that I do feel that way is that, I mean, just take a look at it. It's absolutely stunning around here. I mean, much of the coastline around the UK is beautiful, but with the massive cliffs and I can see the Isle of Wight in the distance. You can see Old Harry's Rocks over there. You can see the kind of, you know, the whole bay almost, which is very much home for me. So it always feels special here. As I mentioned earlier, I caught some cracking fish from this area, not just from this beach, but the water's directly in front of it. So I hold some special memories in that way. But also with these cliffs behind us, if you've got a strong offshore wind, you know, blowing kind of from the northeast, kind of, you're very much sheltered from winds coming off your back. I've been down here before when it's been gusting 30 miles per hour and it's felt like complete tranquility down here, and the waters directly in front of it can be flat calm, which can make for some good fishing and fishable marks even in rough weather. You've of course got the groin down that side, which protects you from any big swells or winds that are coming from an easterly direction, which is always a bit of a bonus. And of course, in terms of the fishing that can be had here, there can be some great mixed fishing. Because we've got lots of sand, you've got all the Southbourne fish that still exist in this area. We're not too far from Southbourne, of course. But you've also got a reef, which is just to my left here, or the direction I'm looking in. And of course, Christchurch Ledge directly in front of me too, just to the side there also. Which means in terms of the fish you can get here, you get really good bass fishing. We can still get into the rays, you can still get into the flatfish because we've got sand in front of us. If I move a little way closer towards that reef, you can start getting into the wrasse and more of the reef species. Of course, bream, it's going to be a really good bream mark. Smoothhounds, the main reason that I'm here tonight. You can catch some lovely smoothhounds off here. So it's a real mixed bag of fishing. On its day, there are going to be some cracking fish to be had. So yeah, those are kind of some of the many reasons that I absolutely love it here to fish. Another one actually I'll add to the list is of course Southbourne, which can be great fishing, but in the summer it gets very busy. If we were down on Southbourne Beach, especially the day that it is, I mean, it's coming up to I think 6:30 in the evening. You know, we're moving into those warmer, nice summer nights, and I'm in a t-shirt still. I'm probably going to put my hoodie on soon as that light fades, but it isn't freezing cold, and I can guarantee you, it's April half term, that Southbourne Beach right now would have a fair few people on it. But Hengistbury, apart from us three fishing on it at the moment, there is nobody on this beach. You do get people on the heatwave days down here, more so to that side. Not many people venture further down towards the groin, and you get dog walkers coming around and doing the loop around Hengistbury, but you can really have fishing here all round, all through the season, and enjoy it. I'll rest my case, but hopefully I've justified why I feel this is my favourite UK shore fishing mark. Well, about 4 hours in, I would say for me now, with lines in the water. Well, actually no, probably about 3.5 maybe. And not even a bite, nothing to show for it at all yet, unfortunately. Now the guys got here, because they travel quite some way, they got down here I think about 10:30, 11 this morning. And apart from Martin said he had a couple of little bites. In fact, when I arrived, he had a few little bites that I will say looked a bit breamy, but unfortunately didn't hook into anything. Between the three of us, 6 rods, no fish on the beach yet. Now, middle of April, we should start to see, you know, daytime fishing pick up by now. We're still in that mixed part of the season where I still think darkness is going to help us quite a bit. But we are pretty much at the bottom of the tide now. We're coming up to slack water, and the flood tide, of course, will begin. Now, with much of Southbourne, much of Hengistbury, first hour after the bottom of the tide, as the flooding tide starts to come in, can be really, really good for both the rays, but also the hounds. And I've certainly found that with the ray fishing on Southbourne. So that actual flood, that hour flood, the first hour or so, coincides with sunset too. So that hopefully should make for some good fishing, or at least some bites to begin. When we were down at Southbourne, I think a week or two ago, pretty much all of our bites came in that like sunset window. As the light was setting, everyone around us, or around me I should say, started getting bites of place. So I'm hoping that flood tide, sun setting, darker conditions start to pick things up. And we can hopefully bring a fish onto the beach. I would feel bad about going on about how good this mark is and then blanking. It wouldn't be the best way to sell it, would it? Still no fish to report. But some bad news. I just sent my last rig out. Well, probably about 20-30 minutes ago now. And as I sent it out, I heard a bit of a dreaded noise and I thought, oh no. Anyway, left it out there for about 20 minutes or so, reeled it in. the biggest wind knot you have ever seen in your life. So yeah, that's going to be a bit fun to sort out. And I really don't want to cut the braid and just, you know, sack it off, because I re-spooled that only about a month or two ago. So it's got a whole fresh spool of braid on. Luckily though, I actually bought I've bought a reel off of Martin today, and he's brought it down. So I use Penn Surf Blasters, and I absolutely love those reels. They've been bomb-proof everywhere for me, from Chesil, Bristol Channel, Cornwall, everywhere I've used them have been just absolutely bulletproof. I've even used them off the boat a couple of times, and they're just solid. So I wanted to get some of the Penn Tidal XTs, and Martin was selling one. He's got 3. He's now gone down to 2 because I bought one off him. So luckily, he brought that reel down today, and I've just quickly tied a shock leader onto it and a clip, and I've sent my rig back out on that one. But yeah, a little bit frustrating, because we're now into that window of kind of peak fishing time where hopefully we might get some bites. But yeah, I was out of the water with one of my rigs, or one of my rods, for about 20 minutes. We're all set up now, we're all back in the water. Time to catch some fish and try and pick apart this mess. I don't know, we'll see what happens. No more excuses. We're going to fish I've fished out all my hardback crab now. So I've only got peelers left, and then obviously got my scratching rig. But the mackerel, I've got the whole mackerel still, so I might put some mackerel head and guts out there, put a big bait, some more scent. I don't know. I'm going to see how it fishes over the next few hours. I might have to mix it up a little bit. These dongle rigs with the peeler bait on there look absolutely irresistible. If I was a smooth hound, I'd be absolutely munching on that. Or even a bass. It's got to catch you something, eh? So there's quite a few anglers on the beach now. I think there's about, including us, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think, all in a row. So we're all here for something. One of us has got a catch, surely. I'm all fed and watered, just had some dinner. A nice chicken risotto, if you're interested. And I'm having a bit of a change of plan. We've got 12 rods in the water between all the anglers on the beach at the moment. And still no one has pulled a single thing out of the water. So time to mix it up. I'm still going to have the hound rig out there with the peeler crab. I've got 2 or 3, I think, peelers left, which I'm going to fish out for the rest of the night. But I'm going to take this as a sign. When I first pitched up, there was a ray egg case right in front of me. I think that's a small-eyed, but I might be wrong. So I'm going to take that as a sign to fish for the rays. So I have here now this is actually a bluey squid cocktail. One that was actually left over in some of the bait that I brought or had from the Bristol Channel, which I fished a few days ago. Do go back and watch that video if you want to see a lovely thornback ray. Not caught by me though, but it's in the video. But yes, this was, I made this when I was sat there prepping baits and then refroze the cocktail, as you can see there. So I'm going to send that out. That mackerel that I brought with me, I'm going to make some mackerel squid cocktails up and see if we can't find a fish with that. Some nice big scenty baits. Could of course pick a ray up. Could definitely pick a conger up, pick some eels. A bass would definitely take that still. But who knows? This might get some of the fish on the feed. It's not looking good, but we've got to try everything we can. All right, come on, let's make it happen, eh? Left rod, guys. I've just seen my first bite of the day. I've just refreshened it. It's a peeler bait on the dongle rig. That is the very first bite I've seen the whole time I've been here, which is about, I think, going on for probably six hours. Whether it develops into something, though, is a completely different question. And this is probably where I'm going to wish I had my little scratching rig back out, isn't it? All right, well, fingers crossed we can beat that blank. All right, well, still no fish for any of us, unfortunately. That temperature has dropped. It's crazy. Like I was stood, as you would have seen in this video, and you can rewind it and see it again if you don't believe me. I was stood in my t-shirt not that long ago. I think it was about 18 degrees today in the sunshine. Absolutely roasting. Now with this wind chill, it's a bit of an easterly wind actually, and it's really put a nip in the air. It's quite chilly actually. I'm layered up. I've got my t-shirt, I've got my hoodie, and I've got my nice warm coat on. But yeah, it's cold. Need a fish to warm me up. But yeah, just spoke to Martin. He is about to put out a little scratching rig and try and save the day with a bit of ragworm on a scratching rig to see if we can pull something out. I think there's probably a couple hours of fishing left in me. I do want to see it to pretty much the top of this tide. See the tide all the way through, which will be, well, it's about 10 to midnight is top of the tide. I think I'll give it to about 11:30ish, or maybe bring one rod in at 11 and then have it packed up by past. Unless it kicks off. If there's some miraculous turn of events makes it start fishing well, then maybe we'll see. We'll keep it longer. But I'm really desperate for a fish before the end of the day. Bristol Channel was tough on me. To sit there all day, fish it hard, and walk away with nothing was hard. So I'd love to get something up today. It's not a blank! Let's go! I've never been more pleased to see a dogfish in my life. Well, I will take it. That was on a... oh, yeah, go on. Chuck it up. Dogfish do throw up, of course. That was on a mackerel and squid cocktail on the pulley pennel. Oh, it's not a blank. It's just a dogfish, but it's not a blank. Well, isn't it surprising what dogfish can do for the morale? It's really nice just to see, you know, a bite and see a bit of a bend in the rod to bring a fish in. And Martin just had a nice bite as well when he was bringing a fish in. Unfortunately, lost it on the way in, lost it in the surf. But when he brought it in, the rig was completely wrecked, all tangled up. So probably an eel. And he said it felt a fairly decent eel as well. But in the last few hours of this part of the tide, I think we've got probably about an hour and a half, I would say, till the top of the tide. Bite's starting to pick up a little bit. So fingers crossed we get a flurry of fish, but who knows. Just had another little bite on that right-hand side rod, the same one we had the dogfish on. I sends it back out with another mackerel squid cocktail. Well, over chatting to Martin, and suddenly my rod has a proper good bite. And it's only a little strap eel, which I'm pleased to see. It's another fish, another species, but it was foul hooked. It's caught him right between the eyes. He's fine. It was a 6-0 circle hook as well, so did well to catch him. But yeah, he's absolutely fine. The hook kind of went through the top of his mouth and back out, so I hooked him backwards, but he's all right. There we go. There's another fish, so not too bad of a session. And that was on peeler crab as well, by the way, so I've actually caught something on my peeler tonight at least. Right guys, just sent my last cast out, but I'm going to sign off here. It's been a difficult night. I mean, smooth downs are going to be a stretch target, of course. That's what I really wanted. But we are still fairly early in the season for them to be here in numbers. So I'm not too disappointed about not seeing them. But I am a bit frustrated that it's been such a quiet night. I was really hoping to have a good session of it today, especially after that big Bristol Channel trip, which I can't lie, took it out on me and it was disappointing. But we will keep trying. We will continue to fish hard, fish different venues, using different tactics, and we'll find the fish this year for sure. There's some big targets to tick off, and we'll make it happen. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it regardless. I appreciate I haven't really sold Hengistbury as an amazing venue, but it is, I promise. If you're down this way, if you're local and you haven't fished this area, come down. It can be such a lovely place to fish. It can really produce some nice fish on its day. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.